there's just been too many failures. And like you say, the obvious wasn't happening. There was those silos. People weren't talking to each other, and it was really, it always come back to that kind of people problem. That's the thing that technology almost always fixes, is it's a people problem that it's resolving. It may be lack of communication, lack of trust, and that all kind of slows things down. And DevOps really kind of helps speed things up, get things to market quicker, and then allow you to be better at your job as well. And it's also, the thing is also is it's also a slight disengagement as well when it comes to technology. You can only install IIS so many times before it becomes tedious. Like back in the day when I was, started out, it's like, wow, I've installed IIS. And, by the end of it, so it's like, yeah, it's IIS. So yeah, I think like that, I think mostly it just comes down to quicker software delivery and enabling you to fail more, better, more reliably.
Mm-hmm. You said communications and trust, which was or a lack of communications and trust between groups, which slows things down. And that is old school IT, the way it used to be. Developers are going to need a thing. They build a ticket, they build me a server and it shall have these VLANs. And you're like, how do you know? Come on, man, ask me what it is that your application needs. Let's have a discussion. And then it ends up being this adversarial relationship where you resent people that are giving you things to do without giving you any context, like you're some kind of a robot that's just supposed to put stuff up there without context. And yeah, it breeds this animosity between you and other groups that are asking you for resources if you're an operations person. But as soon as you talk and as soon as you're in the room with people and you're working on it together, it's a whole different thing.
That is absolutely on the money. That's the thing, is like, because it's the communication thing. Just to start with that, like the communication often came down to the fact that developers were in one location, ops were in another. Like you raise that ticket, the person gets it. It's like, okay, and then what happens is you land up with a back and forth as well. And what lands up happening is that communication really breaks down, and from that point, everybody's just kind of annoyed at each other. What lands up happening is you land up with at work. See what happens is you test something and you deploy something to dev, everything's good, or it's on someone's laptop, right? And they're like, yeah, this is fine. You push it to test, it blows up. And then you get people, you get ops like, why have you, you get ops, and I've done it in the past. Obviously, thankfully, no longer. With that, it's basically what ends up happening is you've got developers saying to operations, well, it's your server. It worked on my machine. And then what happens is, as well, as you end up with operations then coming back the other way, where developers are like, your service is consuming 16 gig of RAM, fix it now. And it's like, I love the wording of it, your service. And it's like, the way it comes back and forth, it just leads to all sorts of problems. And what ends up happening is it slows everything down. That lack of trust really, really slows everything down. Because what happens is developers have that, say they have something that needs to go into production. Operations are that gatekeeper of production. You shall not pass, the Gandalf of production, if you like. And really, what happens is now is like operations get notified late. They're like, yeah, we're too busy. And the developers like, we need to get this out to production. And then what happens is you land up with like a week or 2 weeks lead time. And no one's really winning at that point.
Right. Yeah, I've personally seen a lot of conflict happen purely through help desk tickets. So, an application developer will put in a ticket for something, and maybe won't fill out a form all the way, or they'll leave something blank. And of course, the person who's running ops sees that ticket and they're like, oh, I don't have time for this. I'm just going to kick it back to them. And then the app person starts getting annoyed because, oh, why are you kicking this ticket back to me for this simple thing? Oh, fine, I'll update it, but maybe I'll put a snarky comment in the notes section, and then it goes back to the ops person, and now they're annoyed. So they're like, oh, well, you didn't fill this other thing out quite right, so I'm kicking it back. And yeah, it just kind of builds that whole thing. Whereas if the two of them just sat down for 5 minutes and talked about what they need, and, oh, okay, I'll put in a ticket for that, that level of contention would have never happened, and they'd get the thing they need a lot faster because you have that, oh, this is a human being, not a ticket that's annoying me.
Well, Ned, you're talking in the third person, them and they. This is a story about Ned, isn't it, buddy?
Not at all.
It's a story about everybody in technology, though. That's the thing. And that's the thing. Like, when I worked at an agency, a digital design agency, I sat away by myself. I was in the London office, kind of sat away beside everyone, away from everyone else, anyway, in the corner. And the developers were, it was Sitecore that we built Sitecore websites. And what happened was we weren't a massive company. We were maybe only like 80, 90 people. No, actually probably up to about 100, but that's globally. That was in like 6 offices. But London was the headquarter. What I landed up doing was I landed up actually just going and moving my seat back and sat in the middle of all the developers. And what landed up happening there was the communication all got broke down. And it was easier. People could come up and talk to you. I could go and talk to other people. You were part of the team. And see, to be honest, particularly in the UK, going down the pub and having a pint and just having a bit of a moan, kind of trying to understand other people's point of view leads to a much, much better end result for everybody. That sort of everyone there at that point then is a little less annoyed.